Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Today's video is going to be my March wrap-up video. So March, I feel like, was a pretty good month of reading for me, especially with a 2-month-old. I feel like I was able to get quite a bit done, and I got some books in that I really wanted to read, so I'm pretty happy with my month. I don't think I had like any really low books, like 1 or 2 stars. I think I pretty much enjoyed my reading for this month. So let's just jump on in. So a lot of them I either listened to on audiobook or I actually rented from my local library. Started doing that recently and I've been loving that. So the first book for the month was Tokyo Ever After by Amiko Jean. I really enjoyed this book. This was such a cute little young adult book. So it's I don't even know how to classify it. It's probably like contemporary or romance or something, but it's a young adult book where the main, once again, I'm terrible with names. The main character, she finds out that her dad is a Japanese prince, and that makes her a princess. So she has always grown up in Mount Shasta in California, and she's always been one of the only few Asians in her community, because it's mainly a white community. So she's always felt kind of out of place. And so when she finds out her dad is a crown prince of Japan, she's pretty excited. She goes to visit him. You know, she's really coming to terms with who she is. She's finally in a place that she feels like she's, you know, accepted, or one of, you know, she's not an outcast because she looks like the people around her. It's not just a full white community like she's used to. She meets family along the way and maybe a love interest. It was super cute. I really enjoyed it. I loved to see the Japanese culture come alive through this book. The food she talks about and just what it's like when she goes there. I think that's a pretty cool thing that comes out of the book. And I've always wanted to go to Japan. My husband and I are really, that's like one of our places we want to go, especially Tokyo. My husband's a very, very big car guy, and one of our favorite brands is Mazda, and he loves Mazda Miatas, and they have just a ton of stuff there. Plus my son is a huge Super Mario fan, so Nintendo World, so it just really enforce that we definitely want to go there as a family one time and I don't know, just I love the book. The second one should be coming out, I believe, next month in May. So I can't wait. I loved it. I think I did it, put it as a 4-star, I believe is what I did. Okay, next is the book I had. One of the biggest books of the year for me that I anticipated was The War of Two Queens by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So this is the 4th installment of the From Blood and Ash series, and well, if you count the spin-off, The Shadow and the Ember, it is the 5th installment. So this is the book where Poppy goes to war with the Blood Queen Isbeth. I wanted to love this book so much, and I'm not saying I didn't, but the first 400 pages moved so slow. This book almost took me 2 weeks to get through because I just didn't want to pick it up. The first 400 pages just dragged on. I felt like we kept just learning new things, and I get it. I love world building, I do. But it's just, these books, they throw a lot at you, and I was really, you know, it's called The War of Two Queens. I was expecting war from like the very beginning, like let's go, action packed. We didn't get cast back until page 400. So it was 200 pages left, and that's the whole war, pretty much. The whole war happens in the last 200 pages. So I felt like this book was long for what it is. It could have been cut down. Don't get me wrong, I love long books, I do, but they have to be done right for me, and I just feel like the first part of this book was just too long, too slow. I didn't hate it though. It was a good follow-up or next installment. I feel like the next books though, it's like I feel like we're starting a whole new thing. So it's not, I feel like the next one, it's going to be a continuation, but not really. We're going to be learning, my bookmark is falling out. We're going to just be learning a lot more. It's a lot more world building and a lot more of that. But I don't know. I guess when I read the next one, I can fully figure out how I feel about this to see if it led up to the next one. Okay, but definitely slow for me. Definitely a slow book, and I wasn't a big fan of that. But if you are planning on reading this, make sure to read Shadow and the Ember first. So read From Blood and Ash, Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, The Crown of Gilded Bones, then Shadow and the Ember, and then War of Two Queens. That's how you're going to know so much more. If you don't read Shadow and the Ember, I feel like you're not going to know as much as what this book is talking about. So definitely read that one before this one. But I'm not saying that this was bad. It just wasn't what I was fully expecting. So definitely take it with a grain of salt. I know this book either got really good reviews or really bad. I'm kind of right in the middle. I liked it, but it wasn't my favorite. So I'm not saying don't read it. If you are reading the series, definitely read it, give it a shot. But don't be expecting a super fast-paced book. So, yeah. Okay, the next book I read in the month of March is a very, very hyped book all over Book Talk and BookTube and all that. And that is Neon Gods by Kate Robert. And I definitely saw what everybody was talking about. I now know why it's hyped, because I loved it. I loved the Hades and the Persephone retelling. I loved it. It was definitely a very, very spicy book. So definitely do not pick this up if you are if you're younger than 18. This is an 18 years or older. A lot of sex scenes in there, and not terribly written either. They weren't like cringy. So I definitely enjoyed this book. I see the hype. I was not disappointed. I was very, very happy with it. So I have picked up the second one already, and I will be reading that soon, whenever I can get my hands on it, or whenever I get my hands on it. I already have my hands on it, but whenever it jumps into my TBR. It's kind of a very, very mood reading right now. But yes, I love this. I loved how Hades is always perceived as this like dark like villain, and in this book he is such a sweetheart. I love it. Persephone, you know, the good girl turned bad, so I really, really enjoyed it. I've been enjoying Greek mythology retellings a lot, and I kind of want to add more to my bookshelves, to my TBRs. So if you have any more recommendations for Greek mythology retellings, please leave them down in the comments below, because I would love to get more. But if you have seen this all over Instagram or Bookstagram and BookTube and all that, my opinion is it's worth the hype, so go give it a shot. Because yes, but if you're not into smutty books, then don't, because this is definitely smut. So yeah, if you're not into that, do not give this a try. But other than that, I loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it, and I am excited for the next one. Hopefully the next one can stand up to that. Okay, the other book that one of the other books I read this month, this was an audiobook, and that is Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall. So I gave this a shot because I think Husband Material is out, or it's coming out, whichever it is. So I've always seen the cover, and I've really, really wanted to give it a shot. And I know that this has some pretty good reviews, and I went in with it not really knowing what to expect, and I absolutely loved it. So this was a LGBTQ themed book. So this follows two men. They end up going into fake dating, which is one of my favorite tropes. So they end up in a fake dating because God, I can't even remember their names. I think it's Alex and Oliver, I believe. But I believe it's Alex who ends up needing a date because he is the son of a like rock star, and he is portrayed as you know, this gay guy that likes to party and drink and do drugs, and he's just living this crazy life, and pretty much he's about to lose his job due to his personal life, and so someone in his job recommends, oh, why not getting a boyfriend and showing everybody that you're not into the partying life and all this stuff. Well, insert Oliver, and Oliver is a lawyer, I believe he was, and he lives this like perfect life. And so they start fake dating, and we know where that goes from there. But it was so cute. I loved it. I could not stop listening to it. I breezed through it, and I cannot wait for the second one, husband material. So if it's out, I need to go pick it up. If not, whenever it comes out, I'm going to grab it. I need to research that. I should probably have had researched that before this video, but either way, if you haven't read it, go read it and go pick up the second one when you can, because I cannot wait. Okay, next is I started reading the Selection series by Kira Cass. So this is the first one. So I am pretty far in the book, but last month I started this later in the month, like towards like the last week. So I only read the first two, so the Selection and the Elite. Okay, so this follows America Singer. So this book kind of reminds me of like a mix of the Hunger Games slash The Bachelor, kind of, because you have the class systems 1 through 8, kind of like in the Hunger Games you get the districts 1 through 12 or whatever it is. And so the prince, Maxon, is ready to get married, and so what they do is they do the selection. So one woman from all the different provinces, so that equals 35 women, end up moving into the palace, and they go through this kind of like Bachelor themed, is they go through the selection process, and Maxon is supposed to pick his bride and the future queen from those 35 women. And so America Singer is this like class 5. She's meant to be like a musician or a singer. That's the job classification for the classes. And she ends up going there. She's a favorite of the public's, but not many people like her in the palace because of her lower class and just what she stands for. She doesn't fully support what the crown does, and so she's not very, very liked. But Maxon has liked her from the very beginning. So the second book is the continuation where the selection ends up narrowed down to I think like 6 people, so she makes it into the Elite. That's what the second one is. And I actually thoroughly have enjoyed this series. I believe the Selection, the first book, is going to be a movie on Netflix. I know that they've picked the cast, they've done it all, but I don't think they've started filming. I didn't know this until after I read the book, but I think it was actually a cute little romantic royal young adult read. I really surprisingly have enjoyed it. I rented the whole series from the library and I'm almost through, so I'm sure I'll talk more about the series when I finish it at the end of this month. But yeah, I've really thoroughly enjoyed that series. I've seen it recommended a few times and I was like, you know what, I saw him, I picked him up, and I'm glad I did because I've really enjoyed them. So yeah, let me see what else I've read. If I read anything else, I don't know. I started The Love Hypothesis at the end of last month, but I finished it technically in April, so I will definitely have that in my April wrap-up. But let's just say that I really enjoyed it and all of the hype did not let me down. Let's just put it that way. I'll leave it there. But yeah, I think those are all the books that I read or listened to in the month of March. And like I said, I had a pretty good reading month. I'm not going to say that, you know, everything was great because like I said, The War of Two Queens is really slow for me. It took me a while, and I was kind of disappointed in it, but I didn't hate it. It just wasn't what I was expecting. But besides that, I think my month was a pretty good reading month, and I'm happy with it. So yeah, if you've read any of the books, let's discuss them. Let's talk about them. Or if they're on your TBR, then you know what? Give them all a shot, because I wasn't upset by any of them. So I'm very, very happy that this is how my year is starting off with reading. First, quarter of the year is doing pretty good so far. So yeah, if you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel and you want more bookish content, please make sure to subscribe and stick around, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.